Hey everyone, how is it going? Welcome to today's exciting episode of the Technicolor Mike B Show, and I am your host for today, Sir Toony Van Dukes. Now, I don't think I've mentioned it here before, but I grew up in the Chicago area, and as a kid, I would watch Bozo, the Bozo Show, Bozo Circus, whatever you want to call it, on WGN, our local channel for watching the Bozo Show. And I guess I never knew at the time that other cities had their own version of Bozo the Clown and their own Bozo Show, Bozo Circus. I thought everyone just watched the Chicago version, but I was a kid, what did I know? And after 1978, the WGN network went national via the cable. It became a superstation. So that's one way that a lot of people were able to watch the Bozo Circus if they didn't have their own Bozo Show locally. Yeah, I didn't know that at the time. I was a kid, yeah, just didn't really know that, but I had the opportunity to go see the Bozo Show being filmed. I was part of their audience 2 different times as a kid, and when I tell other clown friends that I saw the show twice, they're like, oh my gosh, we wanted to go so much, but we never got tickets. It's my understanding that at one point the wait to get tickets to the show was 10 years long. I had nothing to do with getting the tickets. I was just the right place at the right time and had the right family and the right friends. So the first time I went to see the Bozo Show was in 1978. And we went with some of our friends from the neighborhood. One of my mom's, I guess, best friends had requested tickets and got them, and they invited us and I think one of their other neighbors to go see the show with them. They must have had 8 tickets or whatever, so they could invite a handful of people beyond just their family. And so that was the first time going to see Bozo Circus. At the time, Bozo was portrayed by Bob Bell, and their other main clown was Cookie, portrayed by Roy Brown. The show also had a magician or wizard character, Wiz-O the Wizard, who was portrayed by Marshall Broding, and other performers at the time. And I think it was that first time that I went to see the show that we were standing in the hallway outside the studio, and Roy Brown, the gentleman who was Cookie the Clown, was in the hallway. I don't know if he was talking to someone or just passing by or what it was, but for some reason, that was like the first time I got a real close-up look at him, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's wearing a wig. Yeah, I don't, when I would have been 5, maybe 6 years old at the time, probably 5, depending on what time of year we actually went. And I could see, if you don't know Roy Brown and Cookie the Clown character, he was an Auguste clown. He had orange hair and he was bald on top, and I could see the top of his head, and the fabric had some wrinkles and creases in it, and it was obvious to me as a kid that he was wearing a wig, that wasn't his real hair. Yeah, don't know what we're making today. No idea. But yeah, so that was the impression, the shocking discovery that clowns don't always use their own real hair, that he really wasn't bald like his character. So yeah, that is one of the few things I remember about that visit. The other thing I remember, and I think it was that time that we went, every time if you're familiar with the Bozo Show, you know they play Bozo Buckets, where they chose one boy and one girl from the audience to come out and play along with Bozo and toss the ping pong ball into the numbered buckets with the chance of winning great prizes. And the way they worked it, they had a TV monitor that the audience could see, because they would randomly pick someone and there'd be this white arrow that goes zipping across photos of people in the audience and pointing at various people. And occasionally it would stop and it'd be like a mom or something. Oh no, we can't choose her. She's not a kid. And they'd go on. And so you could see, and I remember it stopped and the arrow, and I was sitting like right there, and it was pointing right next to me, the person sitting next to me, and I just wanted to scoot over to be the one who was the arrow was pointing to, but that person sitting next to me was my brother. He was the one that they selected to play Bozo Buckets. And this will be the thing that he'll probably never forget, is he played and he actually missed the first bucket. Now, I guess it doesn't happen very often, but they were prepared for it and let him try a second time at getting the ball into the first bucket. Just dropped the ball right in, and he made it the second time. I think he missed the second bucket, or maybe got the second bucket and missed the third, but he didn't get all the way through 10 buckets and win the grand prize. Which I don't know if the time would have been a bike or the $100 bill, or what exactly the grand prize was at playing Bozo Buckets in the 70s. But yeah, so that is my memory of that show. And afterwards, I'm assuming it was afterwards, we have pictures of the group of us with Bozo and Cookie that we took that day so it's us and the neighborhood kids on the Bozo Show, with getting our photo taken with Bozo. Then 2 years later, in 1980, we had the chance to go see the show a second time. That's not the color I was looking for. This time we went with some of my dad's cousins. I think one of his uncle or someone had a connection to WGN, worked at the studio, or worked with the Cubs who worked broadcast on WGN. And we got tickets, so we went. One of my dad's cousins drove, and it was myself, my brother, two of my cousins, and then two of my dad's cousins, and one or two of the older cousins who were old enough to drive. So that was our second time going to see the Bozo Show, and I don't remember all that much about that visit of the show. None of us got picked to play Bozo Buckets that time. I guess that kind of thing only happens to you once in a lifetime. But we once again got photos after the show, so all of the kids got our pictures with Bozo and Cookie. To capture the moment forever. And I know I found both of those pictures in my parents' photo albums a few years ago to prove that it really happened. thing, I don't know if everyone understands about Bozo. He was a franchise character. He was owned. The rights to the Bozo the Clown character were owned by a gentleman. I believe is Larry Hammond. I had it. Larry Harmon owned the rights to the Bozo the Clown character, and he licensed them to the various cities so they could put on their own version of the Bozo Show. That when I go out as a clown, I go out as myself, my own character. I have all the rights to my makeup, my look, my name, and whatever I want to do. But Bozo was a licensed character, which meant that he was supposed to wear the outfits they wanted Bozo to wear. He was supposed to look the way the Bozo was supposed to look. And he was played by a variety of different performers, all trying to create the same Bozo character. And the same thing sort of happens with Ronald McDonald, that there are many people who have, over the years, portrayed Ronald McDonald. So, if you know the history of the Bozo Show, Willard Scott, the famous weatherman, he was the Bozo for a few years in the Washington, D.C. area, and he was also one of the early Ronald McDonalds. And I think the most famous one that people know because of his connection to WGN was Bob Bell. After Bob retired from the show, he was replaced in Chicago by Joey DeAroya. I think that's how he pronounces his name. Sorry if I mispronounced it. One of the other clowns on Bozo Show the later years after I was in college, didn't really get to watch it back then, is Robin Urich, and he is one of the few clowns associated with the Bozo Show who I've personally met. He has gone to different clown conventions, and he participated in the Mooseburger Clown Arts Camp. So I've met him a few times. He's a great guy, and he talks about his experience on the Bozo Show and some of the things they did. So here is our Bozo-inspired balloon clown. Today's makeup was at least partially inspired by Cookie the Clown. Tried to do something that was connected to the Bozo Show, and Cookie wore a red plaid shirt, and he had a yellow tie and some suspenders on as his costume. I didn't have the right wig to do the Cookie wig. But yeah, so I had the unique opportunity growing up to see the Bozo Circus twice. And he was definitely, or my experience watching the show on TV definitely influenced me when I decided to become a clown. And one of the comments I've gotten a few times is that, oh, for being a clown, you're not goofy enough. You're so sedate and normal sometimes. And I guess today there aren't that many clowns that people can refer to. It has been 20 years since WGN ended the Bozo Show, the Bozo Circus, and all the different names that went by. 20 whole years. And so people don't have that reference of a clown, but Bozo was the host of the show, and he was not goofy 100% of the time. He was not telling jokes 100% of them. He was hosting the show. He was picking children from the audience. He was introducing acts, And when he did those things, he was not goofy. He didn't like play tricks on the kids and pie them in the face while they're playing Bozo Buckets. No, there's a time to do the clowny things, and there's times to do the more routine parts of being an entertainer, being a host of a show. And I think any good character needs to have a spectrum. That you can't be happy all the time. You can't be laughing all the time. You can't be joking all the time. You have to be sometimes a little disappointed, sometimes a little happy, sometimes a little laughing and joking. There has to be some kind of spectrum to give each moment more meaning. If you're just always on, always bubbly, always goofy, there's never something different to compare it with. So yeah, I think as a character, you have to develop the full spectrum. And unfortunately, the Bozo Show, at least the Chicago version, has never been like syndicated. They have never gone into reruns and shown the old shows from the 80s, the 90s. And times before that, I guess the first 20 years they didn't record the show, they broadcast live. And then when they started to record it into a tape delay, they just kept on recording over the tape, or at least that's what I've heard. So there's no real physical old copies of the show. Any of the ones that they have made it this far, but they haven't been released to the public. So any of the videos you see on YouTube are either the special videos that WGN preserved, or someone recorded it on their home VCR and digitized it to share with other people. There's no DVD collection of the Bozo Circus from WGN in the 80s, 90s, or the early 2000s before they ended their episodes. So yeah, we don't have the luxury of being able to look back at those thousands of episodes of Bozo performing and entertaining and working as a host. So this has been my episode about visiting Bozo Circus at WGN Studios in Chicago. And this is our Bozo Balloon. So until next time, see you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. Thanks for watching.